So before moving into the topic, I wanted to highlight the members about this insolvency course and how we have to take up this course and get success in this course. Actually, this insolvency course is conducted by IBBA, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So they are the authority for conducting this course. So first, the eligibility for this insolvency course is either we should be a candidate should be a chartered accountant, or a cost accountant, or a company secretary, or an advocate. So the person who is having degree in law and having minimum 10 years of practical experience. If we are having 10 years of practical experience, then you can take up this course and you can register yourself after successful completion. You can register yourself as an insolvency professional. So besides this professionals like CA, CS and advocates, any person who is having their graduation in commerce and having an experience of about 15 years, they can get registered for this exam and they can register themselves as insolvency professional if they successfully complete this exam. So after completion of the exam, we have to register ourselves with any one of the insolvency professional agency. So as of now in India, there are about 3 insolvency professional agency. One is held by our ICAI, Triple IP ICAI, it will be called as Triple IP ICAI, Insolvency Professional Agency of ICAI, Indian Institute of Insolvency Professionals of ICAI, and another one is having by ICSI, and another one is having by CMA Institute. So as of now, there are about 3 insolvency professional agencies. So we have to register ourselves with any of these professional agency. Afterwards, we have to take up the 50 hours practical training course, which will be conducted by IBCA. So it will be hosted by any of the insolvency professional agency. So that 50 hours we have to successfully complete. So once if we complete that 50 hours training program, then the certificate will be issued by the IBBA as insolvency professional. So this is about the joining of the course, and we register as insolvency professional by ourselves with IBBA and as well as in insolvency professional agency. So let me start my screen to share. Okay, so before moving into the topic insolvency and bankruptcy board, so it is necessary to analyze about the insolvency process statistics all around the world, and we have to compare that process with our country India. So as per the World Bank Ease of Doing Business report, so they are taking 190 economies all around the world. So out of those 190 economies, only 31 economies are having specialized court for handling insolvency cases. All other economies, they are handling these insolvency cases through the common court only. So there is no specialized court out of 190 economies. Only 31 have specialized court. So this report is issued by World Bank on Ease of Doing Business report. If you are seeing the insolvency process statistics amongst the different countries, in India it is average, on an average it took 4.3 years to solve a case, and also if you are seeing the recovery rate is also very less. It is only 26.5% when compared with other countries. If you are taking United Kingdom, the process time for getting insolvency resolution, it is only 1 year only. And if you are seeing the recovery rate is also at a higher side. It is about 85.3%. And if we are seeing the United States of America, so there also the duration for taking insolvency process is only 1 year, and the recovery rate is 81.8%. And if you are taking South African countries, 2 years, the minimum time, maximum time taken for resolution the insolvency process is 2 years, and the recovery rate is 34.5%. And if we are seeing our neighbor country China, so in China also the duration is a little bit less when compared with our India. It is 1.7 years, and also the average recovery rate is 36.9%. But in India, before introducing this insolvency and bankruptcy code, the duration taken for resolution an insolvency process is about 4.3 years, and also the recovery rate is very less when compared with the other countries. If you are taking UK, the time taken is very less, and also the recovery rate is higher side. But in India, the time taken is at higher side, whereas the recovery rate is very low. It is 26.5% only. So this is the main reason for bringing up this insolvency code into practice. As of now, the status of CIRP, that means Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process, as on 31st March 2020, as published by Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, IBBA has published the status of CIRP as on 31st March 2020 in India. The total number of cases admitted from the inception of introduction of this IBC code 2016 till 31st March 2020, there are about 3,774 cases were admitted for CIRP proceedings, Corporate Insolvency Resolution proceedings. So of those 3,774, 312 number of cases has been closed either on appeal or reviewed or by making settlement to the creditors. Then 157 cases were closed by withdrawal of the applications under section 12A. So that we will discuss later on. Once the insolvency application is accepted by the adjudicating authority, is there any possibility for withdrawing those applications? Yes, it could be withdrawn. So based on that withdrawal of the application, 157 cases were closed, and 221 cases were closed by resolving the process. So that means by submitting the successful resolution application, resolution plan, 221 cases were closed. Then 914 cases have gone for liquidation, because this CIRP, basically we all thought that insolvency means ending of the company, but it is not like that. CIRP, the main purpose of CIRP is to revive the company. If there is any possibility to revive the company, that will be the main object of this insolvency code. It is not amounts to liquidation of any companies. But out of those 3,770 number of CIRP cases, 914 companies were closed by liquidation order. Presently, as of now, there are about 2,170 cases which are in ongoing CIRP process. So this is the statistics issued by IBBA as of 31st March 2020. So the recovery rate after introduction of IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, we have already discussed that the average recovery rate in India before introduction of IBC is about 26.5%. But now, if you are seeing the recovery rate post IBC, if you are seeing the recovery rate is about 48%. So almost it is it gets doubled. From 26.5% to it is all around 48%. So these are all the major CIRP process that is ended with submission of the successful resolution plan. And also, if you are taking JP Infratech Limited, the total amount realized through CIRP process is about 23,223 crore. That amounts to 100% realization of the claims received by the corporate debtor, 100.2%. So whatever may be the claim received, so the entire claim was settled to the stakeholders in the case of JP Infratech Limited. Afterwards, in SR Steel Company Limited, 41,018 crore amount of rupees has been realized. 82.91% is the realization rate regarding to the claim. So 82.91% of the claims were settled by the successful resolution applicant. So this is about the recovery in major cases under CIRP process. Electro Steel, it is about 40.38%. Bhushan Steel Limited, it is 63.5%. Monnet and Ispat Energy Limited, 26.26%. The lowest realization, the settlement of claim is in the case of Alok Industries Limited, whereas the realization rate in percentage of claim is 13.11%. So this is some of the successful CIRP process taken place in India as of now. Now we will see the object of this insolvency code. So what is the main object of bringing this insolvency and bankruptcy code 2016? Because before brought in this IBC 2016, there are so many insolvency laws available in India. Presidency Town Insolvency Act and Provisional Insolvency Act 1920. So these are all the existing laws which handle the cases of insolvency. Now the main object of this IBC 2016 is to consolidate and amend the laws relating to reorganization and insolvency resolution. So it aims to consolidate all the existing insolvency law presently in India and amend the laws based on the available, that means based on the present situation, how we have to amend those laws. That will be the main object of this code. And assessment of viability of the enterprise at a very early stage. If we are seeing the existing Insolvency Act, the viability will not be assessed at the earlier stage. The case will going on for a number of years. But here in IBC, there is it is a time-bound process. So in insolvency and bankruptcy code, the process will be taken within the time frame prescribed by the IBBA. So within that time frame, the process should be completed. Either it should be resolved or the company should go for liquidation process only. But it will be analyzed. It will be analyzed whether there is any viability on the enterprise, whether we can continue the organization or it should be wound up. So that decision could be taken at a very earlier stage in case of IBC 2016. And this IBC 2016 aims to balance the rights of debtors and creditors. So in if you are taking the previous insolvency laws, that court only will decide the continuation of the company or insolvency of any corporate person or any other person. So it will be decided by the court. But if you are taking this insolvency and bankruptcy code, so it balances the rights of debtors and creditors. So the proceedings, the corporate insolvency resolution process will be entirely decided by the creditors, committee of the creditors. So the company, the decision of the company will be in the hands of the creditors. At the same time, it provides various rights to the corporate debtors also. So because the topic given is awareness to the corporate debtor, even though the topic is about awareness to the corporate debtor, it is necessary for us to know some basic concepts of IBC. Then only we can advise our client how to save themselves from the corporate insolvency resolution proceedings, etc. So it balances the rights of debtors and creditors. Creditors also having some rights and responsibilities. At the same time, the corporate debtor is also having, the debtors also having rights and responsibilities, and it ensures the time-bound process to preserve the economic value of the asset. If we are taking example, one insolvency case is filed against a person. We all know that how long it will take if the matter is to be decided in a court. Or court, if it is to be decided eventually, how long it will take, we all know that, because our court system is like that only in India. So it will take longer time. So if any company is going to sick, it would not be continued forever. If it is going for filing insolvency petition in the normal court, the regular court, because the regular court is going to handle so many number of cases in different fields. So insolvency there is no separate court. If it is going with the general court, it will take much time to complete the process. So the economic value of the asset will get damaged, it will get decreased. But since it is time bound process, so this lead to preservation of the economic value of the asset, then it ensures the collective process respect the rights of all creditors equally. So we may think that in CIRP process, only the large creditors will take all the advantage. The small creditors will not be considered here like that. So many of us may think that, but it is not like that, because all the creditors will be treated equally. So if you are seeing the waterfall mechanism, whether it is a small creditor or it is a large creditor, so all will be given as an equal status only. So the waterfall mechanism, so if it is a financial creditor, whether it is secured or unsecured, if it is a secured creditor, 100 crore creditor and just 10 lakh value of creditor, both are having the same right here. So these are the some of the objects of introducing this IBC code in India. So what are all the differences between this IBC and the existing laws? So if we are seeing the existing laws like Provincial Insolvency Act or Presidency Town Insolvency Act 1909, the control of the organization will be continue with debtors only. Okay, since the till the decision is taken up in the court, the control will be continued with the debtors only. But if you are seeing the IBC, once the insolvency CIRP process petition is accepted by the adjudicating authority, the management, the whatever may be the managerial decisions, that will go to the hands of the creditors. So here the creditors will be in possession of the organization and will be in possession of the management. Then the decision will be taken by the insolvency professional in consultation with the committee of creditors. So every decision, whatever may be the decision to continue the company or whatever may be the things to do in the company after the petition is accepted by the adjudicating authority, it will be taken together by insolvency professional in consultation with committee of creditors. So every matter will be discussed and to be decided in committee of creditors meeting only. And if you are taking the existing laws, there is no timeline. Okay, it may take any number of years to complete the process. But if you are seeing Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code IBC 2016, I already told that in the object itself, it is a time-bound process. So the maximum time allowed in the code, the actual time allowed in the code is 180 days, and subject to certain conditions, it may be further extended to 90 days. At any cost, the time should not go beyond 330 days from the date of CIRP initiation date, corporate insolvency process initiation date. Adil 330 days actual time given in the code is 118 days. So CIRP commencement date or date, what is meant by CIRP commencement date? The date on which the insolvency CIRP petition is accepted by the adjudicating authority. On the date within 180 days, the process is to be completed. If it is not to be completed, it could not be completed within 180 days, then with the permission of the committee of creditors, if the resolution is passed at the meeting of committee of creditors, then the insolvency professional is having the power to apply with the adjudicating authority for extending the CIRP process period to further 90 days. That means up to 270 days. In between, if there is any litigation because of that, if the CIRP process is not to be continued, then it may go up to 330 days. As per the present amendment, it could not go beyond 330 days. Then in the existing law, there is a lack of specialized bankruptcy code. So that bankruptcy specific court. So it will be handled by the regular court only. It will be handled by the regular court only because of the work volume in the regular court. So it will take much time to complete any cases. But if you are taking IBC 2016, so there are about two specialized court. One is NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, and another one is Debt Recovery Tribunal. So National Company Law Tribunal, they are the adjudicating authority for corporate debtors. So the debtors other than corporate debtor like partners, firm, individual, so for them the specialized court is Debt Recovery Tribunal. So they are the adjudicating authority. So this is one of the major difference between existing law and IBC. Then in case of existing law, there is a lack of role of expert. So no expert will be involved in the process. So everything will be handled by the court. But if you are taking IBC 2016, so the role of insolvency professional will be much higher in IBC 2016. So every proceedings, whether it is CIRP process or it is liquidation process or it is voluntary liquidation process, and if the insolvency resolution process is going to be introduced for individual or partnership firm, the role of insolvency professional is are much higher. So because of that only, I in the beginning of the seminar, starting of my presentation, I informed that how we may take up this course and successful completion of this course, because in future, within a short period of time, this IBC code is going to be extended for individuals and partnership firm also. So at that time, the demand for the insolvency professionals will be at higher. Because as of now, we are handling only CIRP process, corporate insolvency resolution process, and liquidation of the corporate data. If it is introduced for individuals and partnership firms, the number of available insolvency professionals are in shortage. So we are having more opportunities under this IBC code 2016. And the court is guilty of making commercial judgment on viability of the company. The court will not verify, it will not go to the affairs of the company. So based on their judgment, they will make the order on the viability of the company. But if you are taking the IBC, every decision will be taken up in the committee of creditors meeting only. So the decision on the revival of the company or the decision about liquidation, so all rests with the creditors. The creditors of the company will only decide whether we have to revive the company. Is there any possibility to revive the company, or if there is no any possibility, whether the decision of liquidation is to be taken at an earlier stage. So all those will be taken at the meeting of the committee of creditors. Then if you are taking the existing loss the assessment will be based on the net worth. So what is the net worth of the company? So based on that only the assessment will be made. But if you are taking IBC, it is purely based on the cash flow. So how much amount will come into the company? So based on that only the assessment will be made. Then if you are taking, there is a huge difference in the waterfall mechanism between the existing law and IBC 2016. So in existing law, there is no clear waterfall mechanism in payment of the debt. But if you are taking IBC, so there is a very well-defined waterfall mechanism of payment in case of liquidation. One of the example is in the existing law, all the government dues are getting priority before making payment to the creditors. Creditors payment all the government dues is to be settled. But if you are taking IBC 2016, so there is a change in the waterfall mechanism. Government will get their dues only after the amount is settled to the financial creditors. So financial creditors amount settled the government can get their money. So that is one of the main difference between the existing law and IBC, because they are getting second preference only after making payment to the financial creditors. So these are all the main differences between the existing law and IBC 2016. Now we will discuss the IBC system in India. So how this system operates in India. So the premier authority for this IBC 2016 is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So they are the governing body for IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. They only will form the regulations and issue notifications and circulars and all. They are the authority for handling this insolvency process. The next one is Insolvency Professional Agency. So I already told that there are about 3 insolvency professional agency presently in India. இவங்களோட ரோல் என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தோம்னா, வாட் இஸ் த ரோல் ஆஃப் இன்சால்வன்சி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ஏஜென்சி அப்படின்னா, டு ரிஜிஸ்டர் தி இன்சால்வன்சி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் அண்ட் இன்சால்வன்சி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் என்டிட்டி. ஸோ ஹியர் இஃப் ஒன் ஆர் மோர் இன்சால்வன்சி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் வாண்ட்ஸ் டு do the practice jointly, then they may form insolvency professional entity. Yes, like in our CA professional, we are forming partnership firms. So like that, if any individual insolvency professional wants to make a partnership firm, so they have to constitute an insolvency professional entity. It will be called as insolvency professional entity. So adula vandittu they can practice their insolvency cases. So this insolvency professional agency, so their main area of work is to register the insolvency professional, to register the insolvency professional entity, and to regulate the profession. So as like ICAI, this professional agency will regulate the functions of the insolvency professionals. Then next one is insolvency professionals. So they are the real hero in this IBC system. They are the person only going to handling the CIRP proceedings as well as liquidation proceedings. So once the liquidation application is CIRP application or liquidation application is accepted by the adjudicating authority, then in some cases the applicant themselves, they have to recommend the name of the insolvency professionals while making the application with adjudicating authority. Or if it is not prescribed by the applicant, then automatically the adjudicating authority will, from the empowerment maintained by the adjudicating authority, they will appoint the insolvency professionals either as interim resolution professionals. Once the CIRP process commenced, at the commencement of CIRP, the adjudicating authority will appoint one insolvency professional. He will be called as interim resolution professional. So he will hold the office till the conclusion of the first COC meeting, first committee of creditors meeting. Till that he will continue. Committee of creditors, if they wanted to continue the same insolvency professional as resolution professional, then they may take a resolution to continue that same person as a resolution professional. Otherwise, they are having the power to change the interim resolution professional appointed by the adjudicating authority with some other insolvency professionals. If you are taking banking companies, so they will come under, generally they will come under the term called as financial creditors. So in committee of creditors, the financial creditors are having much power than the other creditors. So if the financial creditors decides to change the insolvency interim resolution professional, then based on the voting, they can change the interim resolution professional and appoint another person as resolution professional. In a bank, as like audit panel, they are maintaining the insolvency professionals panel also. So based on that panel, they will appoint the resolution professional in the place of the interim resolution professional. Then another one organization which works under IBC is information utilities. So nowadays we are getting so many mails from one organization called NESL, National E-Governance Services Limited, regarding the confirmation of the credit facilities availed by our clients with the banking companies or non-banking financial institutions. We are getting so many mails by confirming the debt registered with information utility. So what is mean by information utility? Information utility is nothing but it is an organization. So it is an organization which will collect the financial information about the persons, and it will authenticate those information, and it will provide whenever it is required by the users. So information utility or main purpose enna appadina, credit related on information receive pannittu, then they will verify the authenticity of the information. After verification, then they will register those information with their database whenever it is required by the users. So if any person wants to file any application for CIRP before adjudicating authority, then they have to get information from the information utility. So it will be acting like a civil organization. So civil organization all the credit information will be stored by the lenders. But here in information utility, not only the financial credits, but also the operational credit also could be registered. So for example, there is a manufacturing company. So there is a manufacturing company. The manufacturing company supplies the goods to their customers. So if the manufacturing company wants to register that debt provided by the company to its customer, that information could be registered with information utility. So in future, if any dispute arises, then this company, manufacturing company, may utilize the authenticated information available with the information utility to prove the default on the side of the customers. For example, there is a spinning mill. Spinning mill enna pandranga appadina, they are supplying the yarn to the customers, say garment manufacturer or fabric manufacturer, they are supplying the goods. So if they want to record that debt provided, that credit provided to their customer, they can register those information with the information utility. Whenever the debtor is in default, then the supplier can use the information available with the information utility to prove the default. So இப்போ வந்துட்டு பேங்க்ல வந்து நிறைய கடன் வாங்கி இருக்கிற கிளைண்ட்ஸுக்கு வந்து நிறைய we are receiving so many mails from the banks. So bank they are sending mails, banks they register the information with the NESL, National E-Governance Service Limited. In turn, NESL wants to verify the authenticity of the information submitted to it. So அதுக்காக என்ன பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா they are sending mails to the customers of the bank. So you obtain so and so loan, that loan is registered with us as so and so amount. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு whether you have agreed with that amount அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு they will ask for the information confirmation. Once the customer of the bank is confirmed it, then it will become an authenticated information available with the information utility. Then whenever the bank is required that information to prove the default, that default will also be recorded by the financial institutions or financial creditors with the information utility. So once if any default arises, then that those information will be utilized for making application against the corporate debtor or any other debtor with the adjudicating authority. The next person in this IBC system is National Company Law Tribunal or Debt Recovery Tribunal. So National Company Law Tribunal is the adjudicating authority for all the corporate debtors. And DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal, so they are the adjudicating authority for non-corporate person. Non-corporate person means it will come individuals, partnership firm, etc. They will come under Debt Recovery Tribunal, but insolvency code is not so far extended to individuals and partnership firms. Now, as of now in India, it is applicable only for corporate debtor. Then National Company Law Tribunal and Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal and Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal. So NCLAT is the appellate authority in IBC system. So if any person who is aggrieved by the order of NCLT, who is aggrieved by the order of NCLT, so the appeal could be made to the NCLAT, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, within the prescribed period of time. Or if any order is passed by DRT, and the appellate tribunal for DRT is DRAT, Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal. So this is the present IBC system in India. IBBI is the superior authority, the Insolvency Professional Agency to regulate the insolvency professionals. Insolvency professionals who is actually going to handle with the insolvency process and liquidation process. Then information utility is the organization who hold the information and record the fact of default. Then NCLT and DRT are the adjudicating authorities. NCLAT and DRAT are the appellate authorities. The applicability of the code, this code is applicable to whole of India. Before this Jammu and Kashmir is consolidated with our India, it was not made applicable to that part, but now it is applicable to the whole of India. Part 2 deals with the corporate insolvency resolution process and liquidation process, part 2 of the IBC code. Then part 3 of the IBC code deals with the insolvency resolution and bankruptcy of individuals and partnership firms. So after brought in this IBC code 2016, அப்ப இருந்துட்டு இப்ப வரைக்கும் பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா so many changes has brought in by the IBBA in regulations and rules and regulations has been so many times modified. So each and every times the regulations is getting modified. So whenever we are practicing in insolvency area, we have to regularly update the regulations and rules of the IBC. So that is oftenly changed. Then corporate debtor, we have to know the meaning of corporate debtor. So who is a corporate debtor? Corporate debtor is nothing but a corporate person who owes a debt to a person. So corporate person owes a debt to a person. So the person to whom the debt owes may be a corporate person or a non-corporate person, either an individual or a partnership firm, whatever it may be. But the person who is going to pay that amount, that person should be a corporate person. So the word corporate person is defined in IBC code. So corporate person includes a company defined under Companies Act 2013. Companies Act 2013 defined by our company, or any company under special act like a banking company or insurance company or electricity company, whatever it may be. And LLP, limited liability partnership, will also come under the term called corporate person, or any other person incorporated with limited liability. So this is the definition given for corporate person. So this is inclusive definition. It includes a company, whether it is a private company or public company, whatever it may be, defined under section 2 subsection 20 of the Companies Act 2013, or any other company under special act, or limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership will also come under the term called corporate person. We can't tell it as a partnership firm, so part 2 will not be applicable. So like that we can't tell. For limited liability partnership also, this part 2 will be applicable, because as of now part 3 is not yet notified. Only part 2 is notified. So part 2 notified ஆயிருக்கிறதுனால LLP will also come under this term corporate person. Then filing of application with adjudicating authority for corporate debtor. So corporate debtor, when the application is to be filed, okay, there should be a minimum amount of default. For example, A Limited is a corporate person. A Limited is a corporate person. A financial creditor or operational creditor of A Limited wants to file a petition, file an insolvency application against A Limited with the adjudicating authority, that is NCLT. So whether they can simply file the application, they can't file it, because the minimum amount of default is prescribed in IBC. So what is the minimum amount of default? Previously the minimum amount of default is 1 lakh. So 1 lakh minimum amount of default irunduchu abdina, any financial creditor or operational creditor or workman may file application. Sometimes the corporate debtor himself may file application with adjudicating authority to initiate the corporate insolvency resolution process. But on the 1 lakh அப்படிங்கிறது, since it is a small amount, in majority of the cases the creditors, either financial creditor or corporate operational creditor, majority of the cases operational creditor use that that measure to threaten the corporate debtor. Corporate debtor வந்து threaten பண்றதுக்காக they are in some cases it is misused. So to safeguard the corporate debtor from those type of revenges, இப்ப என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க அப்படின்னா, the IBBI has increased the minimum amount of default. The monetary limit has been increased from rupees 1 lakh to 1 crore with effect from 24th March 2020 by notification number 1076 dated 24th March 2020. ஏன் என்னாச்சு அப்படின்னா, small operational creditors to whom the company is owing 1 lakh and above, அவங்க வந்துட்டு they misused this provision, because sometimes if there is any default of some 2 lakh or 3 lakh, the healthy going companies may also come under the process of CIRP. CIRP process கீழ அவங்களையும் வந்து கொண்டு வர முடியும். ஒரு நல்ல கம்பெனி ஹெல்த்தியா போயிட்டு இருக்கு, அந்த கம்பெனியை வந்துட்டு வேணுன்ட்டே வந்து if anybody wants to disturb the operations of the company அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, it is possible. If there is any default in that company, the operational creditor may file the application with the adjudicating authority to bring that company into the CIRP process. So அதை வந்துட்டு நிறைய கேசஸ்ல மிஸ்யூஸ் ஆனதுனால IBBI what they did, they increased the monetary limit, because already the code has given the power to the IBBI to increase the monetary limit of minimum default up to 1 crore. So now they exercise their power to increase the minimum amount of default from 1 lakh to 1 crore. So as of now, we have to know that if any person wants to make a CIRP, initiation of CIRP application, the minimum amount of default in that corporate debtor, in that corporate person, should be minimum 1 crore. So in the 1 crore அப்படிங்கிறது, a doubt may arise. There are about 2 crore default in a company. ஒரு கம்பெனில வந்து 2 crore default இருக்கு. but that 2 crore default is not for a single person. One person mattu kedaiyadhu. So it is for n number of persons, say for 10 persons. So 10 persons consolidated, the amount comes to 2 crore. That means it go beyond 1 crore. Individual creditors not more than 1 crore. So அப்படிங்கிறப்போ whether is it possible to file an application against the corporate person since the default is higher than 1 crore அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேள்வி வந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா the answer is yes. Consolidated if the amount, okay, consolidated if the amount exceeds rupees 1 crore, the default amount exceeds 1 crore, then the creditors can jointly file an application with the adjudicating authority to initiate the corporate insolvency resolution process against a particular corporate person. So the central government already has given power to change the minimum amount up to 1 crore, as I already discussed, I already explained. Now the IBBI exercised the power and increased the minimum amount of default. The monetary limit is increased to 1 crore from 1 lakh to 1 crore. Who may initiate the CIRP? யார் வந்து இந்த CIRP process initiate பண்ணலாம்? Who may initiate CIRP process? CIRP process can be initiated by section 7 of the IBC code. Empower the financial creditors to initiate CIRP. Section 9 empowers the operational creditor to initiate CIRP. Section 10 empower the corporate debtors themselves to initiate the CIRP. We have to know who is a financial creditor, who are the operational creditors, then corporate debtor we already discussed. The corporate person himself who is going to owe or who is owing the money to other person will be called as corporate debtor. But we have to know the term financial creditor and operational creditor. Then what is the power available for financial creditors and operational creditors against corporate debtor? That we have to know. Yes, a corporate debtor, we have to know the power of financial creditor and operational creditor. The definition of the financial creditor given in IBC code is any person to whom a financial debt is owed and include a person to whom such debt has been legally assigned or transferred to. So nothing but financial creditor அப்படிங்கிறவங்க யாரு அப்படின்னா to whom a financial debt is owed by a corporate debtor. ஒரு corporate debtor யாருக்கு வந்து financial debt கொடுக்கணுமோ that creditor will be called as financial creditor. Financial debt means a debt along with interest, not only the principal. If you are taking the default amount, besides the principal, interest amount will also be added. Both put together, if it exceeds 1 crore, then the financial creditor is having the power to make an application against the corporate debtor, the adjudicating authority to initiate a corporate insolvency resolution process. These persons will be called as financial creditors. Then operational creditors. So operational creditors are nothing but the persons to whom operational debt is owed by the corporate debtor. So operational creditors are nothing but the suppliers of goods and services. Suppliers of goods and services will be classified as corporate creditor for the purpose of IBC. So as per the IBC, government dues will also come under the term operational creditors. If you are seeing the definition, it includes payable to central government, any state government or any local authority will also be included in the term operational creditor. Besides the suppliers of goods and services, the government authorities will also come under the term operational creditors. So here we have to note one thing. If any tax liability is pending with the government, either it is with central government or state government, say income tax liability or GST liability or central excise liability or customs liability, whatever it may be. So if that default is in excess of rupees 1 crore, 1 crore ku mela irunduchu appadina, then the government is having the power to initiate CIRP process against the corporate debtor. So how this process can be initiated by financial creditor? So we will discuss each for financial creditor and operational creditors and for corporate debtors also. So if any financial creditor wants to initiate any CIRP process, how they can file the application, then how the proceedings will be handled, we can discuss. So since even though the topic is about awareness to the corporate debtor, we have to know whether the financial creditors are following the procedures correctly and the adjudicating authority are properly making order to initiate the CIRP process. So if anything is not followed, then the corporate debtor is having the right, the corporate debtor is given the right to challenge the order initiated by the adjudicating authority or the action after the application is accepted, CIRP process is initiated. Then if anything is any default is on the side of financial creditors, then the corporate debtor is having the power to challenge those decisions. So here, while making application with the adjudicating authority, the financial creditor can solely or jointly file the application with the adjudicating authority or with joined with the other financial creditors. He may file application with the adjudicating authority. Then there should be default to the applicant, financial creditor or any other financial creditor. There are about 3 banks in consortium. Bank A, Bank B, Bank C. So if Bank A there is a default. There is default by the corporate person to Bank A. Bank B can also file application on behalf of Bank A. Since there is a default to one financial creditor, other financial creditor, even though the default is not to the on behalf of another financial creditor, since there is a default to the other financial creditor, in this example, default is to the Bank A only. For Bank B, there is no default, but Bank B can initiate CIRP process on behalf of Bank A. The fees to be paid is 25,000 rupees. In Form 1, it is to be filed. Then the record of default and the name of the proposed insolvency interim resolution proposal to be submitted with the adjudicating authority. While the application is filed with the adjudicating authority, a copy of the application is also to be sent to corporate debtor register office through speed post or registered post. So this is one of the right the corporate debtor is having. So awareness to corporate debtor. First point, the corporate debtor is having the right to receive the, it is the obligation on the side of the applicant, CIRP applicant, to send the copy of the application to the corporate debtors register office, either in speed post or registered post, it should be sent. So based on that application, if the information is correct, then the corporate debtor may not challenge that application, or if he could prove that the information given in the application is not correct, it is against him, then he may file a voluntary petition. With the adjudicating authority to challenge the application. So on the time the adjudicating authority will hear both the applicant as well as the corporate debtor. They will hear both the persons. Then if there is any chance for withdrawing the application after hearing the corporate debtor, then the adjudicating authority will dismiss the application. They will not accept it. So at that stage, the corporate debtor is having the time for arguing his view on this application, because there is no, in the code, there is no opportunity of being heard is required to be given to the corporate debtor. Corporate debtor opportunity of being heard கொடுக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறது IBC ல எந்த இடத்துலயுமே இல்ல. So voluntarily the corporate debtor should interfere in the application before the adjudicating authority. Then the adjudicating authority will ascertain the existence of the debt. If any petition is filed, cross petition is filed by the corporate debtor, then the adjudicating authority will go through that petition also. Then they will ascertain the existence of the default. So if the existence of the default is proved, and the adjudicating authority will accept the application, will admit the application, or if the existence of the default is not proved, then the adjudicating authority will reject the application. So it is on the hand of adjudicating authority based on the available information. Either they may admit the application or reject the application. The CIRP commencement will be starting from the admission date, the date on which the application is admitted by the adjudicating authority. From that date, the CIRP period will be commenced. So from that date to 180 days, the CIRP period will be present. So before rejecting the application, the adjudicating authority should record the fact of rejection. So why the application gets rejected, that fact the adjudicating authority should record. So the admission order, once the application is admitted, the CIRP will be commenced. The management of the company will go out of the hands of the existing board of directors. Okay, so இந்த இடத்துல என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, CIRP application accept ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா, the management will be taken from the hands of the either promoter or the existing board of directors இருந்தோ இல்ல வந்துட்டு promoters ஓட கையில இருந்தோ, the management of the company will be taken and it will be given to the insolvency interim resolution professional appointed by the adjudicating authority. So whenever the application is admitted by the adjudicating authority, the admission order is to be sent to financial creditor as well as corporate debtor. The corporate debtor should also come to know that the application is accepted, because once the application is accepted, his power will go out. His power will be taken over by the interim resolution professional. However, if the application is rejected, then the rejection order is to be sent to only the financial creditor. It may not be sent to corporate debtor. He will continue the business under his management. Then by the operational creditors எப்ப வேணா அவங்க வந்துட்டு CIRP ப்ராசஸ் இனிஷியேட் பண்ணிட முடியுமா அப்படின்னா கிடையாது. ஸோ இங்கேயும் வந்துட்டு when operational creditors wants to initiate CIRP அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எடுத்துட்டோம் அப்படின்னா, there should be occurrence of default. For example, supplier of material, they will come under the term operational creditors. Supplier of raw materials to a manufacturing entity. அங்க வந்துட்டு ஆஃப்டர் தி அவைலபிள் கிரெடிட் பீரியட் முடிஞ்சு தி கார்பரேட் டெட்டார் சப்ளையர்ஸ்க்கு பேமெண்ட் பண்ணாம இருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா, it will amount to occurrence of default. So first of all, the supplier, the operational creditor should deliver a demand notice in the prescribed form. The form prescribed under IBC regulations is form number 3. So the operational creditor should issue a demand notice with the corporate debtor to demand the amount of default. Then 10 days time is available for the corporate debtor to reply. First அன்னைக்கு வந்துட்டு if the demand notice is delivered, so the date on which actually the demand notice is received by the corporate debtor, corporate person, so that will be the date of demand notice, delivery of demand notice. So அந்த டேட்ல இருந்து 10 days time available இருக்கு கார்பரேட் டெட்டார்ஸ்க்கு. அதுக்கு ரிப்ளை கொடுக்கிறதுக்கு 10 days டைம் இருக்கு. So அந்த 10 days டைம்க்குள்ள if the existence of the dispute is proved, existence of dispute இருக்கு, இல்ல அந்த பணத்தை வந்து திருப்பி கொடுத்துட்டாங்க அப்படிங்கிறது இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா, default and dispute is different. So default அப்படிங்கிறது if the corporate debtor does not fulfill his obligation இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா default. Dispute, இப்போ மெட்டீரியல் சப்ளை பண்ணதுல inferior quality of materials இருக்கு, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறதுனால தான் நான் பேமெண்ட் பண்ணாம இருக்கிறேன் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரியான டிஸ்பியூட் இருந்துச்சுனாவோ, இல்ல within that 10 days இந்த amount is repaid அப்படின்னா, corporate credit operational creditor could not initiate the CIRP. Corporate creditor could not initiate the CIRP. இல்ல there is no existence of any dispute எல்லாம் எதுவுமே இல்லை, அமௌண்ட் வந்துட்டு கார்பரேட் டேட்டா வந்து திருப்பி கொடுக்கல அப்படிங்கிறப்ப operational creditor can file a CIRP application before the adjudicating authority. Non-existence of dispute, no payment is received, no response is received from the corporate debtor within that 10 days time இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா, an operational creditor may file an application before the adjudicating authority, but without issuing a demand notice in form number 3. Form number 3 ல demand notice அனுப்பாம an operational creditor cannot directly file CIRP petition before the adjudicating authority. But in case of financial creditor, there is no such procedure to be followed. Financial creditor, he need not to follow the procedure like operational creditors. They can directly file the petition if there is any default. But operational creditor, first they have to issue a demand notice in form number 3. Then they have to wait for 10 days. Afterwards, if they satisfy that there is no dispute exists, or if the amount is not repaid, then they may file an application before the adjudicating authority in form number 5. The fee to be paid is ₹2,000. Then initiation of CIRP by corporate debtor. So sometimes the corporate debtor themselves, if they are thinking that they could not continue the business, they could not revive the business. So business வந்துட்டு நம்மளால revive பண்ண முடியாது. So it is better to bring our company under CIRP process. CIRP process கொண்டு வந்து we can if there is any possibility to revive the company அப்படின்னு பார்க்கலாம். Or if they wanted to wind up the company அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்கன்னா, if there is any default ஏதாவது இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறப்போ அவங்க வந்துட்டு if they voluntarily go for CIRP process, அதுக்கு வந்துட்டு occurrence of default should be must. Default வந்து இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா then they can file the application in form number 6 along with a fee of ₹25,000. So இப்ப default இல்ல, there is no default, but I want to wind up my company. If there is no assets and liability, assets and liability, then we may directly file application with ROC to wind up our company voluntarily. But if there are assets and liabilities in our in a company, abdina, how we can wind up the company? So there is a procedure available in IBC. There is a provision available in IBC called voluntary liquidation that I will discuss later on. Okay, so நமக்கு வந்து occurrence of default இருக்கு அப்படின்னா directly the corporate debtor can file application before the adjudicating authority for initiating the CIRP process. If there is no default கிடையாது, but there are assets and liabilities to the company அப்படின்னா how we can wind up the company? That is a procedural aspect that will be useful for our regular practice also. If we are having any corporate client, if that corporate client wants to wind up their company, if there is no assets and liability, then we can directly file the form with the ROC. The ROC, if they satisfy there is no assets and liabilities to the company, they will make an order for winding up the company. But if there is assets and liabilities in the company, then we can't file that form with the ROC directly. So at that time, we have to follow the procedures of voluntary winding up as specified in IBC that I will discuss later on. That this is the time limit for completion of CIRP, 180 days from the date of application of the admission of application by the adjudicating authority. That is from CIRP commencement date. Say 1st March 2020 is the CIRP commencement date. 1st March 180 days will be the time limit available for completion of the CIRP process, corporate insolvency resolution process. As I already told, resolution professional may ask for the additional time limit of 90 days with the adjudicating authority if committee of creditors approve that extension. If it is necessary to extend the time period for further 90 days அப்படின்னு சொல்லி committee of creditors satisfy பண்ணி அவங்க வந்து approve பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்னா, then on satisfaction of adjudicating authority, the time may be extended from 180 days to 270 days. But this extension can be obtained only once. The CIRP process only once this time exemption can be obtained. Maximum time limit available is 330 days. If because of any legal litigation, if the CIRP could not be continued, suspend ஆயிருக்கு, certain period suspend ஆயிருக்கு அப்படின்னா, including all such suspended time period, the maximum time limit is 330 days. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்து this is the latest amendment. Before that, this type of maximum time limit has prescribed under IBC. பண்ணல. அதனால என்னாச்சு அப்படின்னா நிறைய கேசஸ்ல வந்து because of legal litigations and other things, கேசஸ் வந்து 650 days 700 days அந்த மாதிரியான டைம் லிமிட்டுக்கு போச்சு. But now they have restricted, including all the suspended time limit, the maximum time allowed is 330 days. So CIRP process வந்து எப்படி வந்து how the CIRP process will be அப்படின்னா, once the application is accepted by the adjudicating authority, the date will be called as CIRP initiation date. So once the CIRP is initiated, from that date a moratorium will be declared. So what is mean by moratorium? Moratorium அப்படிங்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னா, so during that moratorium period, no person should insist the corporate debtor to pay the debt owed to them by the corporate debtor. Corporate debtor வந்து பணம் கொடுக்க சொல்லி அவங்க வந்து ப்ரெஷர் பண்ண முடியாது. அதே மாதிரி they can't file any suit against the corporate debtor. Corporate debtor against a suit could not be filed. Whatever may be the litigations going in any other court, that will be stopped. For example, a bank is filed a case against a corporate debtor under SIRC. SIRC la vandu or corporate debtor எடுத்துட்டாங்க. Suppose if that corporate debtor is going for CIRP process அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டா, once the CIRP is declared, the SIRC actions, all the actions should be suspended. SIRC எடுத்த all the actions should be suspended. If any case is filed against the corporate debtor in any of the court, எல்லாமே வந்துட்டு it will be stopped during the moratorium period. No legal suits should be filed, no suits to be continued. எதுவுமே வந்து கண்டினியூ ஆகக்கூடாது. ஸோ இந்த moratorium period எவ்வளவு நாளுக்கு இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, from the date of CIRP initiation பண்ண டேட்ல இருந்து till the end of the CIRP period, say 180 days, அந்த 180 days வரைக்கும் இருக்கு. Or before that, if any resolution plan is accepted by the adjudicating authority. What is meant by resolution plan? I will explain later. So resolution plan, if it is submitted to the adjudicating authority before the conclusion of 180 days, say 150th day, resolution plan is accepted by the adjudicating authority. Then up to that acceptance date, the moratorium period will be continued. So during that period, no legal suit should be filed, no legal suit should be continued. So எதுவுமே வந்து கண்டினியூ பண்ணக்கூடாது. All the things will be handled in CIRP proceedings only. But during that moratorium period, all the essential supplies to be given to the company if it is a going concern. For example, there is a huge payable to the electricity board. There is a huge demand on electricity board, so that the electricity board disconnected the power connection to the manufacturing unit. But if the manufacturing unit is a going concern and if the CIRP is commenced and moratorium is declared, so it is the responsibility of the electricity company to provide the electricity to the company for the moratorium period. Even though in the past, if there are arrears with the electricity company, arrears irunduchu அப்படினாலே they can't deny to give the reconnection again to run the company under CIRP period. Moratorium period வந்து company run பண்றதுக்கு they can't deny to provide the electricity. They should provide it because it will come under the essential supply, electricity, water, etc. So for that amount, whatever may be the electricity consumed during the moratorium period or any other supplies availed during the moratorium period, that will be called as CIRP cost. Okay, that will be called as CIRP cost. So whatever may be the resolution plan amount received or liquidation amount received, so it should be first paid to the CIRP cost. மற்ற secured creditors or any other creditors அது கொடுக்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, if you are taking the waterfall mechanismல வந்துட்டு first priority is for CIRP cost and liquidation cost, so that they will get the priority besides the other creditors. So during that period they can't deny the provision of the services. Then once the CIRP is commenced, the insolvency professional appointed, he will be called as interim resolution professional appointed by the adjudicating authority. So his work will be commenced from the date of initiation of the CIRP. So அவர் என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, he should give a public announcement, one English newspaper and another one is vernacular newspaper. So ஒரு English newspaper and one vernacular language newspaper la the place where the register office of the company, corporate debtor, is situated, or the area in which the corporate debtor is having the functions. So எந்த இடத்துல அவர் வந்துட்டு ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஆஃபீஸ் இருக்கோ இல்ல எந்தெந்த ஏரியாவில் அவர் வந்து ஃபங்க்ஷன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறாரோ, இந்த பர்டிகுலர் ஏரியா சர்க்குலேட் ஆகிற பேப்பர்ல பப்ளிக் அனௌன்ஸ்மெண்ட் டு பி மேட். பப்ளிக் அனௌன்ஸ்மெண்ட் என்னன்னு கொடுக்குறாங்கன்னா, CIRP process is commenced from this date, conclusion date 180 days எப்ப கம்ப்ளீட் ஆகுது, then what is the due date for submission of claims. So the stakeholders should submit the claims. So what is the last date for claim? So what is the who is the interim resolution professional, his contact address, everything should be given in the public announcement. Then the management of the affairs of the corporate debtor rests with the interim resolution professional. So இது வந்து என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, sometimes if any operational creditor misuse their power given in IBC அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டா, an innocent corporate debtor may also gets affected. So அப்ப என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா ஒரு ஹெல்த்தியான கம்பெனி, இன்னசென்ட் கம்பெனி, if they come under the CIRP proceedings அப்படின்னா all their powers will be rested with interim resolution professional. The board of directors will lose all their powers, but they will not relinquish their responsibility. Only their powers will be taken up by the interim resolution professional. Management of the operations of corporate data will be taken care by the IRP as a going concern. So if the corporate data is a going concern, then the interim resolution professional will take over the management of the operations as a going concern. Then the committee of the creditors will be formed. This committee of creditor will include, if there is a financial creditor, only the financial creditor will be forming part of the committee. Operational creditor will not come to the committee of the creditors. If there is no financial creditor or organization or corporate data financial creditor கிடையாது அப்படின்னா then top 18 amount wise top 18 operational creditor will form the committee of creditors. They only take all the decisions. Then after the committee of creditors is formed, then they will discuss amongst themselves. Then they will appoint the resolution professional. The same interim resolution professional appointed by the adjudicating authority may continue as the resolution professional if sufficient voting is offered by the committee of creditors. Or if the committee of creditors wants to replace that interim resolution professional, then with the majority of the votes, they can appoint some other insolvency professional as resolution professional. Then the resolution professional should prepare a document which will be called as information memorandum. Information memorandum is nothing but it is a document which is about the company. The company's static memorandum and business memorandum both should be prepared. So இது எதுக்காக prepare பண்ணனும் அப்படினா to offer that document to the resolution applicant. So resolution applicant யார் அப்படிங்கறது அடுத்து நம்ம பார்ப்போம். So we have to give the overview of the company's position to the resolution applicant. So what is the financial position of the company? What are all the strength and weakness of the company? So what are all the claims received? What is the asset status? What are all the asset value of the company? So everything is to be given in the information memorandum. So before preparing the information memorandum, the resolution professional should appoint valuers who are having the professional degree obtained under IBBA. So there also we are having professional opportunities. Even if we are not becoming insolvency professional, if we complete valuation course as conducted by IBBA, we may be register ourselves for financial assets as valuers. So every CIRP proceedings or liquidation proceedings, two valuers is to be appointed by the insolvency professional. Two valuers appointment. So based on their valuation, the information will be given in the information memorandum. So once the information memorandum is prepared and it should be submitted to the committee of creditors. Once the committee of creditors approve it, then it will be submitted to the adjudicating authority. Then the resolution professional will call for an expression of interest. So he will give you a public notice seeking the expression of interest from the eligible persons. So எதுக்காக அவர் வந்துட்டு expression of interest கொடுக்குறாரு அப்படின்னா, if any person is willing to take over the business of this corporate debtor. So this is the strength and weakness of the corporate debtor available with me in information memorandum. So based on that, if any person is willing to take over the corporate debtor and if they wanted to, if they satisfy themselves that they could revive the company, the company வந்து உங்களால revive பண்ணிக்க முடியும் அப்படின்னா, instead of winding up of the company could be taken over by the other person. So they will be called as a resolution applicant. Whatever may be the plan given by them to review the company or resolve the company, to revive the company, that will be called as a resolution plan. Okay. So that resolution plan, on the resolution plan கொடுக்கிறதுக்கு வந்துட்டு that person should be an eligible person. So அவனுக்கு வந்துட்டு அவனோட financial affairs, so whether he could be fulfilled the resolution plan வந்து அவனால வந்துட்டு fulfill பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படிங்கிறது வந்துட்டு the resolution professional should analyze it, and the resolution plan is to be submitted to the committee of creditors first, and if it is approved by the committee of creditors, then the same should be filed with the adjudicating authority. If he satisfied, if he accepted the resolution plan, then the CIRP period will be concluded. before the 180 days resolution plan is accepted, then CIRP period will be concluded, moratorium will cease to exist. Moratorium period முடிஞ்சிடும். Then the resolution plan, the resolution applicant should give should act accordingly the resolution plan. Suppose if before the conclusion of 180 days no expression of interest is received or resolution plan is not received அப்படின்னா what will happen? So if no resolution plan received or no expression of interest is received or resolution plan obtained is not approved by the committee of creditors, or after approving by the committee of creditors, if it is not approved by the adjudicating authority, then the adjudicating authority may order for liquidation of the company. And the corporate debtor வந்து liquidate பண்றதுக்கு he may make an order. Or if it is accepted, then the resolution applicant should implement the resolution plan. அதை வந்து பண்ணணும். Otherwise it will the adjudicating authority will make an order for liquidation of the company. அதுக்கு வந்துட்டு போறதுக்கான chances வந்து இருக்கு. So these are all the claim forms. Operational creditors, if there is any CIRP proceedings is initiated, operational creditors should file their claim in form number B. Financial creditors should file their claim in form number C. A workman or an employee, they should file their claim in form D. Then authorized representative of the workman and employees, they should file in form E. Suppose if any government authorities wants to make a claim அப்படின்னா அவங்க எந்த ஃபார்ம்ல வந்து claim பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தோம்னா it will be form C. Suppose if any GST official or income tax official asks us if they wanted to file a claim against a corporate debtor, because the corporate debtor is under insolvency resolution process, CIRP. So if any of the government authorities wants to make a claim, then we have to advise them to file their claim in form C. So these are the various types of forms. So when a creditor, how a creditor will come to the knowledge of CIRP initiation, எப்படி அவருக்கு வந்து தெரியும் அப்படின்னா either through seeing that public announcement, it will be made in one English newspaper and one vernacular language newspaper. Then secondly, that public announcement is to be made by the interim resolution professional in the website of IBBA, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India's website. Also the public announcement is to be disclosed. If you are going to the IBBA website, in the first page itself there will be a button called public announcement. If you are clicking that button, another screen will open. So in that screen all the public announcement will be displayed. So we may, by using the sort option, if you wanted to search for any companies, so you can search is there any public announcement made against the company. And if the corporate debtor is having their own website, so in that website also the interim resolution professional should make the public announcement of CIRP proceedings. So in the sources any creditor may come to the knowledge of CIRP process. Then the time limit will be fixed by the interim resolution professional to submit the claim. Within that time, the creditors should submit their claim. Based on that claim only, the committee of creditors will be formed. So if any creditor wished to submit the claim அப்படின்னா at any time before submission of the information memorandum, the creditor may submit their claims, and the resolution professional may also accept that subject to the approval of the adjudicating authority. Then this is the resolution plan. Resolution plan. One second. Hello. Yeah, Bala. One second.
Good evening, members. One small announcement. Sorry for the interruption. Actually, we apologize on behalf of management committee and also next session speaker. Due to unavoidable circumstances, we are not able to join with us. In forthcoming program, if possible, we are join together. The inconvenience are highly regretted. Thank you for your cooperation. For next session speaker, Harishankar sir not able to join with us. Of that, that session will be handed over by the Senthil sir. Senthil sir, you may proceed.
Okay, I will continue. So resolution plan. What is a resolution plan? I already told that it is a plan proposed by any person who is a qualified person as per section 29A for the continuation of the corporate debtor as a going concern. We already discussed that the primary object of the IBC is not to wind up the company, to revive the company, to resolve the issues in the company. Because of mismanagement, the company may become sick. If the account is become NPA, the promoters of the company will never give up. They will tell that I can continue the business, I can increase the finance, I can increase the financial position in a better manner. So like that they will tell. But all over the years, if they are continuing the business, their concept will not be work out. Again they will lose their money, the company will incur continuous losses. So the IBC the management will be transferred to some other team of persons, some other qualifying persons. The management will be handed over. So as a going concern, the person who ready to take over the company, so they will be called as resolution applicant. So the resolution applicant who gives the plan to revive the company, it will be called as resolution plan. So they have to continue the business as a going concern, not to wind up the company. For the benefit of the employees of the company, for the benefit of the customers of the company, for the benefit of the suppliers of the company, they should continue the business. So IBC CIRP process has been introduced. So key objectives maximize potential eventual returns to the creditors. So sometimes if you are going to sell the assets of the company at the time of winding up if you are going to sell, if you are seeing the realization value of the assets will be very less. If you are going to the market to sell any of our business asset, the realizable value of the assets will be very less. But at the same time, if any person take over those assets and if he could use that assets for the same business, the value of the fair value will be fixed. The fair value of the assets may be higher than the realizable value of the assets. So it will give more returns to the creditors. Instead of paying 30% or 40%, in case of resolution plan, it may provide for 60% or 70% payoff to the creditors. Provide better result than if the corporate debtor was to be liquidated, it may be give better result. Then preserve the viable business plan to be in compliance of the code, and resolution plan may be combination of plans by more than one resolution applicant. If there is a combination of more than one resolution applicant, both their plans could be implemented. So that is resolution plan. Then who cannot become a resolution applicant? The person ineligible, say undischarged involvent or willful defaulter to a financial institution. Willful defaulter. So he cannot become a resolution applicant. Business already default. So he can't take over the other's business. Then the connected persons, related parties, so they can't become a resolution applicant. So the restriction so I made a default in my corporate company. I made a default. I am the chairman of the company. So if there is no restriction to become a resolution applicant அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, so through the back door I may enter into the company again. I myself will become resolution applicant, or I may make my relatives to become a resolution applicant. So through them I may enter into the company through the back door. Back door வழியா நான் கம்பெனிக்குள்ள திருப்பி வந்துட்டு again the company's management may come into my hand. So அதை அவாய்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக no connected person related party will become the resolution applicant. So before moving on to the liquidation part, few practical questions we will discuss. Once the CIRP period commences, for example, 1st March 2020, CIRP period commences. For the financial year 31st March 2020, who will sign the financial statement? Because the power of the board of directors will be suspended with effect from 1st March 2020. Board power will be suspended. Then who will find the financial statement during CIRP? The financial statement will be signed both by the resolution professional as well as board of directors. As I already told, only the power of the board of directors is going to be suspended, not the responsibilities of the board of directors. Responsibility of board of directors will never be suspended. They are having the responsibility to maintain the books of accounts. They have to prepare the financial statement. However, it will be finalized in consultation with the resolution professional. So both resolution professional as well as board of directors will sign the financial statement. Can a banker invoke personal guarantee in relation to company undergoing CIRP during moratorium? This is one of the important and practical difficult we have to face, because with effect from 1st December 2019, because as of now no individual insolvency process is notified. Individual insolvency process so far has not been notified. But relating to personal guarantee will come under individual insolvency process. So personal guarantee பொறுத்தவரைக்கு 1st December 2019, the personal guarantor to a corporate debtor. Corporate debtor whoever give the personal guarantee. For example, for obtaining a bank loan by a corporate person, the directors will give their personal guarantee. Directors they give their personal guarantee. As of now, no individual insolvency process is notified, but personal guarantor insolvency process is already notified with effect from 1st December 2019. So after 1st December 2019, if any corporate account becomes NPA in a banking company, any director who gave personal guarantee to that company, they may also be brought into the corporate insolvency resolution process. அதுக்கு கீழே இவங்க கொண்டு வரதுக்கு பவர் financial creditor இருக்கு. But if the company is under the corporate debtor is under CIRP, corporate debtor CIRP ல இருந்தாரு அப்படின்னா, whether the banker can invoke personal guarantee. This is one of the practical query that we may face. Already bank already initiated corporate insolvency resolution process against the corporate debtor. Now at this stage, the bankers thought that nothing could be realized from the corporate debtor. So immediately we may invoke personal guarantee against the personal guarantor அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு whether they can initiate the proceeding அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தோம்னா the answer is no. Because once the CIRP is initiated against a corporate debtor, the moratorium will be announced. The moratorium will be started. Upon the moratorium period, if the personal guarantor settle the dues of the corporate debtor, personal guarantor corporate debtor oda due banker settle பண்ணிட்டாருன்னா, then the personal guarantor will become the financial creditor to the corporate debtor. அவர் corporate debtor against the financial creditor he will be created. So at that time he can't attach any of the property of the corporate debtor. ஏன்னா moratorium periodல no attachment to the property will be made. எது பண்ண முடியாது. So personal guarantor cannot become the financial creditor who is going to attach the property of the corporate debtor. So அது invoke பண்ண முடியாது. Then third one, corporate debtor settle the claims of all the creditors. What is the further course of action? So CIRP period commenced, management goes to the hands of other persons. So now the corporate debtors settle all the claims of the creditors. Claims are settled பண்ணிட்டார் அப்படின்னா then the corporate committee of creditors may decide to withdraw the application against the corporate debtor. So the CIRP applications வந்து creditor வந்துட்டு they may pass a resolution in their meeting to withdraw the application. அந்த CIRP proceedings வந்துட்டு withdraw பண்றதுக்கான application கொடுத்துக்க முடியும். So these are only some practical things. Then liquidation. So when the liquidation will could be initiated, then who will appoint the liquidator? Then the liquidator will collect the claims. Then he should manage the transactions of the corporate debtor as a going concern. Then what is the options available to the secured creditor? Then distribution of assets and the dissolution. This we are going to discuss. So when the liquidation process could be initiated under CIRP terms, CIRP terms when the liquidation process could be initiated அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ஒன்னு வந்து first one, when the adjudicating authority does not receive the resolution plan before the expiry of the time period for CIRP. I already told that 180 days full resolution plan is not received by the adjudicating authority, then the adjudicating authority can make an order for liquidation. Or the resolution plan submitted to the adjudicating authority is rejected by the adjudicating authority. Adjudicating authority does not satisfy with the resolution plan submitted, then he may make an order for liquidation. Or the committee of creditors decides to liquidate at any time during the CIRP process. So I already told that I have been appointed as interim resolution professional as well as a resolution professional for a company. But in that company, when we have issued public announcement for seeking expression of interest and resolution plan, no expression of interest has been received. We have not received any expression of interest or resolution plan. So the same matter was discussed in the committee of the creditor, and the committee of the creditor opined that it is not correct to continue the CIRP process because no expression of interest received, no resolution plan is received. When comparing with the assets and liabilities of the company, it is better to wind up the company. Like that, the decision has been made. Then we filed that resolution with the adjudicating authority. Then the adjudicating authority seeks for further clarification. Seek the further clarification, and he is satisfied, and now he made the order for liquidation of the company. So if the committee of creditor is of the opinion that the CIRP period is need not to be continued further because no expression of interest is received or no resolution plan is received, then they may pass a resolution in their meeting to liquidate the company at any time before the completion of the CIRP process. Or if the resolution plan is accepted by the adjudicating authority, and during the implementation of the resolution plan, if any provision is contravened by the corporate debtor or any person whose interest is prejudicially affected by such contravention, can make an application for liquidation of the company. The adjudicating authority shall pass an order requiring the corporate debtor to be liquidated in the manner. Then the liquidator who will be appointed by the adjudicating authority should make a public announcement stating that the corporate debtor is in liquidation. So if you are going to the MCA website la poitte if you check any company which is under CIRP or if any company which is under liquidation, in the master data available in the MCA portal, there will be one column called the company status. அந்த இடத்துல வந்து இந்த கம்பெனி வந்து CIRP ப்ராசஸ்ல இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா அண்டர் CIRP ப்ராசஸ்ன்னு சொல்லி இருக்கு, ஆர் அது வந்து லிக்விடேஷன்ல இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அண்டர் லிக்விடேஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ ஹவு இட் வில் பி சேஞ்ச்டு லைக் தட் அப்படின்னா, ஒன்ஸ் தி ரிசொல்யூஷன் ப்ரொஃபஷனல் இன்டரிம் ரிசொல்யூஷன் ப்ரொஃபஷனல் அப்பாயிண்டட் ஆர் லிக்விடேட்டர் அப்பாயிண்டட், தே ஹவ் டு ஃபைல் தி fact of CIRP process or fact of liquidation to the register of companies through online mode. Form 29 they have to file it. So once that form is filed, then the status of the company will be changed as either company under CIRP or company in liquidation. So it requires such order to be sent to the authority with which corporate debtor is registered. So then also the status of the company will be changed either under CIRP process or liquidation அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு it will be changed. Then impact of the liquidation order. Once the liquidation order is passed by the adjudicating authority, no suit or other legal proceedings shall be instituted or against the corporate by or against the corporate debtor. Corporate debtor cannot also make any suit, or any person could not make suit against the corporate debtor. Only one exception is with the prior approval of the adjudicating authority on behalf of corporate debtor, legal proceedings may be initiated by the liquidator. Liquidator can initiate the legal proceedings with the prior approval of the adjudicating authority. He cannot suo motu file any legal suit. Then this will discharge the discharge all the officers, employees and workmen of the corporate debtor. But if the before the liquidation is completed, if the business is continued as a going concern till that date, the liquidator may use the services of the officers or employees or workmen. From the date of liquidation order, they will be discharged from their duties. But their responsibility will be there, their duties will be discharged. Then appointment of the liquidator, the person who acted already as resolution professional may be appointed as the liquidator. All the powers of board of directors, key managerial person will be vested with the liquidator. Ella power vandittu liquidator the bank accounting operations, everything will be changed in the name of liquidator. The liquidator should open a separate bank account called liquidator's bank account. So all the proceedings and settlement is to be done only through that account only. Then these are all the various claim forms. If you are taking CIRP process different type of forms available. So in liquidation process, separate set of forms provided by the IBC. Form C by operational creditor, Form D by financial creditor, Form E for workman or an employee, Form F for authorized representative of workman, Form G for any other stakeholder. Then this is the waterfall mechanism. So this is very important. So this is the this is one of the difference between IBC and the existing insolvency law. IBC on what basis of priority the debt should be settled. So first one, IRP cost, CIRP cost and liquidation cost in full. So this CIRP cost will include insolvency professionals remuneration, then other insolvency expenses, then whatever may be the services and supplies made during the moratorium period, and already some that EB electricity charges or water expenses. So whatever may be the necessities required for continuing the business as a going concern. So all those amount will come under the CIRP cost. So example, other example, there is a huge amount to be payable to the electricity board, say 1 crore. There is a default of 1 crore to the electricity department. Now, during the moratorium period, the electricity board should provide the electricity because it comes under essential service. So, whatever may be the amount payable to the electricity company before the CIRP initiation date, that will be claimed by the electricity board as an operational creditor. But whatever may be the cost incurred in providing the electricity during the CIRP period will come under CIRP cost, IRP cost. It will get the first priority over and above the other debt. Then second one, workman due for the past 24 months preceding the liquidation commencement date and debt owed to a secured creditor in the event such creditor has relinquished the security in the manner set out in section 52. So secured creditor is having two options in liquidation. Either they may relinquish their right over the security. For example, a banker after pledging of a land and building offer the loan. So while the company comes for liquidation, that bank relinquishes their right over the security of land and building. So other relinquish then they will get priority when compared with the other financial creditor, other secured financial creditor. Suppose if they want to enforce the security, they will not come under this second stage. In the second stage, they have to liquidate the property which already pledged to them separately, individually. Then they have to settle their dues from that realization. So if there is any shortage of their debt after realizing the assets, then they will come under the other stages of this waterfall mechanism. So second stage. Third stage, the wages and unpaid dues owed to employees other than workmen for the period of 12 months preceding the liquidation commencement date. Then fourth stage la vandu yaar irukranga financial debt owed to unsecured creditor. So secured creditor will come under second stage. Then unsecured financial creditor will come to fourth stage. Then only the government due will come. So if you are taking the existing insolvency law or Companies Act la irukra liquidation provisions eduthom appadina, after liquidation cost the next immediate priority will be given to government. So now in this waterfall mechanism provided in the IBC la vandu paathona, only under the fifth stage the government will get priority. Waterfall mechanism la fifth stage la da vandu government oda dues ella varudhu. So இது வந்து என்ன பர்பஸ்க்காக அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, what is the purpose behind that அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, before getting the amount by other stakeholders, say financial creditors both secured and say unsecured, government receive பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி if it is received by the financial creditor அப்படின்னா, then that amount collected by the financial creditor will again be lending to the other small and medium enterprises. So because of that the business will be grown. So for example, if a bank becomes a financial creditor abina, before paying amount to government, if any amount is settled to the banker, then the whatever may be the amount lent by the banker will be the amount due to the deposit holders. So it will be returned back either to the deposit holders or it may be again re-lent to the other borrowers. It will help to the promotion of the business, development of the business. So in that reason, the government's dues come after settlement to the financial creditors. So inga vandu in the stage la yaaranu solli pathona, any amount due to central government and the state government or local authority avangalukku, then debts owed to a secured creditor for the amount unpaid following the enforcement of security interest. So if any financial creditor they relinquish the enforcement of security interest abina, they will come under second stage. So if they enforce the security pledged to them abina, whatever may be the uncovered portion after unrecovered portion after realization of that particular security, it will come under second stage, fifth stage only. Then any remaining debts and dues, so here only the operational creditors will come, then preference shareholders if any, then finally equity shareholders or partners in case of LLP, partners will come as a case may be. So this is the waterfall mechanism as prescribed in IBC. Then voluntary liquidation, this so far we have discussed the compulsory liquidation order as prescribed by adjudicating authority, but this part is dealt with the voluntary liquidation. So a company who wants to liquidate their business company voluntarily but having assets and liabilities அப்படினு சொன்னோம்னா, first condition that corporate debtor should not be in any default. Corporate debtor should not be in default. They have to promptly settle all their liabilities. They should not be in any default. Second one is declaration from majority of the directors should be obtained. So the directors, board of directors should file a declaration stating that they made full inquiry into the affairs of the company. They made full inquiry into affairs of the company. The company is either having no debt, there is no debt in the company, or the company is able to pay its debt fully from the realization of its assets. So company there is no debt, either no debt or the company is able to pay its debt out of its assets. Then the liquidation, voluntary liquidation is made not to defraud any person. So if this declaration is filed, then the voluntary liquidation proceedings may be commenced. So one is the directors should make full inquiry into the affairs of the company. There should be no debt or able to pay the debt by the company out of its realization of asset. It is not amounted to defraud any person. So this type of declaration is to be filed by the directors. To whom it is to be filed? It is to be filed with the shareholders of the company. So it is to be accompanied by audited financial statement for last 2 financial year, or if the company is not stand for 2 years, say 1 year or 1.5 years, then from the date of inception of the company, whichever is later, then report of valuation of the company by appointing a legal value here, the assets of the company is to be valued. So the audited financial statement along with the valuation report, it is to be filed with the declaration. So within 4 weeks of declaration, so this declaration is to be filed to the shareholders. Within 4 weeks of declaration, a special resolution or ordinary resolutions to be passed in the general meeting of the members, general meeting of the company. So when special resolution is required, when ordinary resolution is required. So if the life of the company is expired as mentioned in the articles of association, suppose if any company is incorporated for a specified period, if that period is over according to the articles of association, then the company should voluntarily liquidated. So at that time, our ordinary resolution is to be passed, or before the expiry of the life, or in between the life of the company, if the company is going to be liquidated voluntarily, then a special resolution is to be passed in the shareholders meeting. If the company owed any debt, then creditors representing 2/3 value to approve the resolution. Once the resolution is passed in the shareholder meeting, if the company is having any creditor, then it is to be approved by the creditor also. Creditors representing 2/3 value to approve the resolution. Then the ROC and the board to be notified about the resolution. Register of Companies and IBBA to be notified about the resolution. Here there is no requirement of getting prior approval from the adjudicating authority or ROC or from IBBA. The corporate debtor may themselves appoint resolution professional as a liquidator to conduct the voluntary liquidation process. Then liquidation to be commenced from the date of resolution and complete wind up of the company, application to be made to adjudicating authority by the liquidator. Liquidator will submit the application to the adjudicating authority for winding up of the company, and if the adjudicating authority is satisfied, then he will pass dissolution order. The copy of the order is to be filed to the registered authority, that is the Register of Companies, within 14 days of order. So if any of you having any corporate clients and if they wanted to liquidate the company voluntarily, if there are assets and liabilities in their books of accounts, in their financial statement, then these are all the procedures to be followed. So board declaration is to be filed along with the financial statement. Then special resolution or ordinary resolution is to be passed in the shareholders meeting. Then if there are any creditors, approval should be received from the creditors. Then all the documents should be filed with the Register of Companies and the board. Then the process will be continued by the liquidator. Once all the assets and liabilities are realized and liabilities are settled, then application will be made to the adjudicating authority for making the order of winding up. So this is about the voluntary winding up. So the current situation about IBC Amendment Ordinance number 9/2020 issued on 5th June 2020 because of this COVID-19 pandemic. Because of COVID-19 pandemic situation, our union government aims to safeguard all the businesses. So because of using this IBC, no business is to be affected. So keeping this on mind, the applicable section 7, 9 and 10 has been suspended by the board for a period of 6 months. So section 7, 9, 10, application made by financial creditor, operational creditor or corporate debtor is suspended. So no person can make an application against a corporate debtor for initiating CIRP process for a period of 6 months. This 6 months period may be extended for a further period of 1 year up to 1 year. So இது எதுக்காக அப்படின்னா only the default arising on or after 25th March 2020. So if any default arise already before 25th March 2020, there is no bar on initiating CIRP process. Only for the default arising on or after 25th March 2020, that is under COVID-19 pandemic. If any corporate debtor becomes a default in repaying their debt, for them only this section 7, 9 and 10 could not be triggered. before that, if any default arises or if there is any default exists before 25th March 2020, there is no bar to initiate corporate insolvency process. So the period may be extended up to 1 year. Then what are all the precautions may be taken by the debtor? Already I told that section 7 or 9 does not provide any opportunity of being heard to the corporate debtor. The adjudicating authority need not to hear the adjudicating authority need not to hear the corporate debtor. But corporate debtor, based on the copy of obligation received, they may or may object to the obligation filed against them. Protection against the fraudulent claims that should be there to verify. Then defense against insolvency petition, financial creditor or operational creditor. Then voluntary petition by corporate debtor. If anything is going to affect the position of the corporate creditor may file a voluntary petition. Then at any point of time, if he makes settlement to the creditors, then he may request to the creditors for withdrawal of the application by the applicant. So these are all the steps they may take. Then management affairs will rest with IRP or RP. Intimation will be sent to MCA. All filings to be done by insolvency resolution professional. Once the CIRP comments initiated, then all the ROC forms is to be filed by the insolvency resolution, interim resolution professional or resolution professional as CEO of the company. So they will become the responsible person. Then new GST registration is also to be taken. So once the CIRP period commenced, for the CIRP period, the insolvency professional should take a new GST registration and he has to pay all the GST liability during the period of CIRP. Then if the resolution professional wants to conduct a forensic audit to inquire about the affairs of the company, then he may appoint the forensic auditor also. Then appeal, if any person is aggrieved by the order of NCLT, he may file an application for appeal against NCLAT. If any person is affected by NCLAT order, then the final authority for appeal is Supreme Court. No civil court is having jurisdiction to entertain all the appeals relating to IBC. IBC related in the civil court jurisdiction. Either NCLAT or Supreme Court. NCLAT order against the direct appeal can be made to Supreme Court only. Then personal guarantor, I already told that it is notified with effect from 1st December 2019. Position during moratorium period, I already explained. The financial creditor cannot invoke the personal guarantee during moratorium period. Then the adjudicating authority for personal guarantor is the adjudicating authority for the corporate debtor. Say NCLT will be the adjudicating authority to the personal guarantor. Also, generally for the individual insolvency process, the DRT will be the adjudicating authority. But for personal guarantors of corporate debtor, it is adjudicating authority. Can creditor claim haircut amount against personal guarantor? Yeah, this is one of the practical area we have to know. There is a company. The company is already under CIRP process or liquidation process. So CIRP process over or liquidation process over. So now the creditors does not get the entire amount what is due from the corporate debtor. Say 10 crore out of 10 crore due to the creditor, only 5 crore is settled through resolution plan or through the liquidation. So balance 5 crore, whether the creditor is having the power to collect it against the personal guarantor, the answer is yes. So the 5 crore the bankers collected from the resolution plan or from the liquidation process. Balance 5 crore they may collect it from the personal guarantor. So that is one of the risky provision against the personal guarantor. So these are all the excluded assets. This is the asset exclude panla. So when a personal guarantor is brought into insolvency resolution process, gold ornaments, then or particular value of house, say rural area 10 lakhs maximum, 10 lakhs value of one house, or urban area it is 15 lakh value of house. Balance all other assets liabilities will come under insolvency resolution process. It will be brought in. So this is about personal guarantor excluded assets. So this my presentation is over. Besides this, I wanted to make certain things to be aware to our members. So for any corporate debtor while we are finalizing the financial statement, we have to concentrate on the assets of the corporate person. So if there is any bogus assets found place in the financial statement, or if the corporate person inflated the stock value to avoid to reduce the amount of loss, because if they wanted to produce the financial statement to the banker, they may like to show the financial position in a better manner, so that artificially they may inflate the value of the stock, or they may make a sale to get bank finance and all to increase the value of sales. They may artificially increase the sale. They can make a sale to their sister concern, and they may record the sister concern as their book debts in their books of accounts. So if any those type of entries are found place in the balance sheet of a corporate debtor, if the CIRP process is started, then the insolvency professional, if he wanted to make full inquiry about those assets, then he may refer the case to the forensic auditor. It may be amount to diversion of the fund in some other manner. Even if the corporate debtor tells that in future those stocks are inflated for increasing the profit and all, but it will be subjected to forensic audit. So it is the duty of the resolution professional to verify is there any preferential transaction or if any fraudulent transaction taken place in the company. So while finalizing the accounts, while auditing the accounts of the corporate person, we should be very careful. We have to analyze each and every assets of the company. Otherwise, we will also be in trouble. So members should be very careful while finalizing those type of accounts. So these are all the things I want to share with the members. I once again thank Erode branch for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I also thank all the members for your patient listening of my presentation on this IBC. If you have any doubt, I am here to clarify it to the extent possible by me, because I am not practicing in this IBC fully, because if you wanted to practice in IBC, we should have a separate office set up. Otherwise, we could not do this practice in a very organized manner, because if you are seeing the penal provisions in the IBC code is very high. Yes, like our Institute Disciplinary Committee or NFRA. So in IBC also there are penal provisions are there against both corporate person or creditors and insolvency professionals also. So if you wanted to practice in insolvency area, so we should have a separate office set up for that, because I already told that everything will be in time bound manner. So if we miss the bus, then a lot of litigations will arise. So if we are willing to practice in insolvency area, then we should devote more time in this area. Okay. So I thank once again all the listeners. Thank you. Over to Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Sir, members are requested to put your query through chat or raise your hand. I will unmute you. Members are herewith requested, kindly raise your queries through chat box or kindly raise your hands. I will unmute you. You may raise your queries directly. Sir, hope there is no queries, not yet. Anand sir, I will request CA K.C. Anand sir give a vote of thanks. Anand sir, session is yours.
Yeah. Good evening, ICAI. I sincerely thank today's faculty, Sri K.C.Senthil Kumar sir, who is an insolvency professional, for having conducted a detailed session on insolvency and bankruptcy code. Thank you very much, sir. We are very much thankful to you for the detailed session you had with us. Thank you very much. And today, actually, another faculty, Mr. Harishankar sir, could not attend the session due to unavoidable circumstances. We will have the session in some other meeting. Sorry for the inconvenience to all the members. I also thank all the members, CA, past chairman and all, for their patient listening to this session. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.